Oh, hey, well, welcome. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be a fun time. Been a long time Packer fan, since the day I was born, I could say. Been a long time owner as well, season ticket holder family. So been to many Packer games in my past here, living out in Milwaukee right now. So we try to get up there several times a year for a game or two. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be a part of the inaugural show.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you being here. So, how this is going to work now and in the future, right? We'll just run you guys through about three questions. Just let your fandom speak, right? Ideally, you got to be a little bit respectful about each other. But it's your team, it's your fandom, it's your passion. Let's hear it. I'll step in if y'all start throwing hands at each other. Amen. I'll step in if y'all start, getting at each other's throat a little bit too much. Hey, it just might happen one day. We don't know, but that's gonna be the fun of it. That's what's the beauty. We don't know what we're gonna get with this, and that's gonna be a bit fun. And like I said, we'll just cut out the shit we need to cut out. If it gets that far, it won't get that far today, but maybe in the future. I know Eagles fans out there. That's my secondary team. Always has been. I know those Eagles fans are.
Oh
We start
yeah.
getting those on. It's gonna get a bit crazy. But first, so what we're gonna do is run you guys through a bit of questions, and we're gonna let you take it away. We'll moderate. We'll chip in a little bit, but we want to hear it from the voice of fans of actual teams. And I know, Joe, you're a part of it, but man, no matter who you are, no matter what show or team or podcast or company you're a part of, you're still a sports fan,
Hell
right?
yeah.
So absolutely. So let's dive into it. Fan v fan face off. The very first question I have for you gentlemen, I want to get into a division prediction of the NFC North, right? That's y'all's division. That's my
Mm.
division, right? E-Man's a little bit of he's gonna bring some unbiased opinion here, right? You're outside a little bit.
For
So
sure.
let's see. The first one, we'll let fan guest Brennan get into it first. What will the standings look like? Let's hear a bit what you think the standings in the NFC North are going to look like at the end of the season. Who's going to start out hot? Who's coming out of the gates hot? Who's going to finish the season hot? Who's got what it takes to make it all the way?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough. Looking at the Packers schedule, obviously, I think they're going to come out hot. I think they got a few first easy games, and then their schedule just progressively gets harder. But if I'm going to take a prediction on who's going to come out of the North, it's going to be the Detroit Lions. I mean, until they prove otherwise, the Detroit Lions to me are the superior team until Green Bay proves that they can match that. So I mean, I've got the Lions coming out top. I think they're going to go 13-4 this year. I think they're going to have a very good year. Their schedule doesn't look terribly hard. They've got a few rough matchups, but I mean, I don't think it's anything that they can't get past to win the division there. But I got the Packers going 12-5 this year, kind of right behind the Lions. Kind of split in the division with quite a few, with the Lions, with the Bears. I think they're each just going to win their home game. Vikings this year, I don't know. They're kind of a toss-up with JJ McCarthy. So I have them going 5-12, but at the same time, I'm not sure what JJ McCarthy is going to offer out there. So as long as he can get the ball out to Justin Jefferson and Addison, I don't really think he's going to have too much of an issue there. He's got Jones in the backfield yet, and I know they're pretty high up on their second back there. So I think it's going to go Lions, Packers, and then I think just the Bears and Vikings right after that to follow. But it's going to be an interesting year interdivision. I think everybody this year kind of has their tough matchups out of the division, especially with Kansas City, Baltimore. I know playing quite a few of us, so it's going to be interesting, kind of visiting Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City. Just having those games in the division is going to be it's going to make the run for the division pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a good point about the start of the schedule there, especially with, I think the Lions very good chance coming out on top. But the Packers getting the Lions week one with two brand new defense or an offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. Look, they
Yeah.
might roll back a lot of the same stuff, but when you got your play callers, two brand new play callers, let's be honest, Dan Campbell's great for the locker room. He's great for motivating the boys. He's not a play caller. So when you got two brand new shot callers a part of it, there's going to be bumps in the road, even if it's minimal. You're coming off you're removed from two of the best play callers in football. It's going to be very hard to replicate that success and be as impactful as you were, at least right out of the gates. So like you said, Packers getting the Lions right out of the gates. I think it's winnable for that reason in a big way. And then we'll see how the season
Yep.
goes. But Joey, what's your rebuttal there? He's got the Bears out there in third place, possibly fourth. Where are you thinking on that one?
Well, I'm going to say they're not going to be in fourth place. I'm too sick of that. So I'll give them a third or a second place. But I am trying to figure out what's the bigger wild card. Is it the unknown of J.J. McCarthy, but he's with Kevin O'Connell, and we saw what he did for Sam Darnold last year, and there could be a big rise there that keeps it alive? Or is the more unknown what the Lions are without Ben Johnson? And that's not just me tooting the horn because he's the Bears coach. I'll get to that later. But to your point, what you said, Austin, those are the two best play callers. And when you lose those guys and you're starting over with a team that was very good, but was very reliant on their system, especially with a quarterback like Jared Goff, they could take a step back without a system and a coach that works for him. So that's where I think a Vikings team with an unknown but a really good offensive mind can sneak up there. Same with the Packers and LaFleur. They're a consistent organization that keeps winning, and it pains me to say it, but they keep winning. And so I think that's where you can go, probably Packers, Bears, Minnesota, Packers, Bears, Detroit, Minnesota, and just not knowing where that Minnesota, Detroit may flip-flop because of the coaching changes and the QB unknown. You just don't know. And I can't put my Bears last because I'm not allowed to. My dad will kill me. So that's what I'm going to do.
The Bears.
I think it's crazy. I wasn't expecting to hear Lions in potentially third place there. When you just consider the amount of talent on that roster, you would think, it's hard sometimes to overcome bad coaching. We've seen it enough, no matter the talent. But there is a lot of talent on that team. But, like you said, the Bears, they've retooled. The line isn't bad, right? Caleb took way too many sacks. He was to blame I think he was the most to blame quarterback for sacks taken last year. The line didn't help him, but the line was also not bad. I think PFF just ranked the Bears line to be a top 5 line in the NFL coming into the season, which to me sounds a little bit absurd, but, there's confidence in what the Bears have up front to protect Caleb, and now they got weapons galore with Rome, Luther Burden. My goodness, I am pissed that he is in a division that's not in green and gold. Obviously, you replace Keenan Allen with him essentially, and you got DJ Moore still a stud. I'm hearing some rumblings about this backup running back y'all got who might be a little bit nicey behind DeAndre Swift. Besides, what's his name, the Texas running back?
Roshan Johnson.
I always like Roshan. So Brennan, you give us your final rankings for the division, and let's see where it lines with Joey.
I mean, I got Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I got, Bears, I got 7 and 10. I mean, I think the Bears, they do have a lot of caliber there. It could change, right? I mean, they've got 6 top 50 draft picks in their just immediate weapons, right? They got Swift, DJ Moore, Odunze, Loveland, Burden now. I mean, they got a lot of weapons.
Nice.
It's more so, I got to see it.
Sure.
They haven't been able to prove it in years past, and I do think that they're doing all of the right things down in Chicago. I'm not going to cheer for it, but they're heading in the right direction, and I think they're doing all the right things to make their team improve. And I mean, I don't disagree with Joey. I kind of agree in the sense of there's no more Ben Johnson. He was the play caller. We'll see what happens this year when we got a new player caller in Detroit, but those Lions, I mean, they're deep. They're deep. I mean, I feel like I could almost go out there and start calling some plays, and we got to score at least once, right? I mean, they got a deep team out there, and they're scary, but I think truly the Packers can catch them this year. But
all right, Joey, what's the final early before the season kicks off, before injuries start piling up? What's our prediction for how the division's going to round out here?
I don't want to say it out loud because there's a green and gold gross thing climbing up my rankings, and I just want to suppress it down as much as I can.
Shoot in the face.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the Packers are the Packers. So I know, I mean, Ben Johnson's opening press conference said he looks forward to beating the Packers twice a year, and that I love. But the reality of that has been they've beat them once in the last decade, basically.
Yep.
So, I think I got to start with the Packers first. The Viking, it depends on the quarterback. It's really tough, but I may go Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings, because I can't put my Bears last. But it also, like the Vikings, they could either be a juggernaut, like they don't have the quarterback, but they have the coach, and the Lions don't have the coach, but have a quarterback, and it's like, how does that balance? Because they're very specific, and so. I like to drink my Bears Kool-Aid a little bit and have them go up a little bit. They need to be They need to be in playoff contention. I always am like,
Yeah.
they got to be playing meaningful football in December because that's what you root for. And frankly, I'm dying for.
Eman, what are your thoughts? Eman, where's this lining up from an unbiased? You're not a part of the division. Where are you coming in with this?
Initially, when I first looked at it, I was like, well, the NFC North may be the most competitive division in football. Just if you're looking at how Caleb is playing now with Ben Johnson and knowing his just genius. I looked at a couple games last year in the Lions, like, he might be one of the greatest play callers ever. So I think that's going to push them up. The Vikings, I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be okay because let's be honest, Sam Darnold wasn't that good. And he won 14 games last year. So I think this might be the most competitive division, and it's hard for me to say. And I do want to go out on a limb. I'm saying it now. I think the Packers going to win the division. I think the Bears will finish second. Lions will take a cha-cha electric slide step back. I really think those two coordinators will affect that team because I just don't think I'm with you. Campbell, come on, biting knees and stuff. That's not going to work. So I think the Lions will finish third, and I'm going with Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings. But yeah. I think everybody may win 9 and above for sure.
I mean, I could see the whole division going 1-1 or like just winning one game versus each other.
Easily.
Realistically, it's a very good
That's
division.
kind of what I had, yeah.
Yeah, and the Packers, they could, they're under halfway in the first season last year was impressive as hell. To not have a single pass rusher stand out, really. Sean Gary was amazing as a run defender last year. Took a step back as a pass rusher, doing a lot more. There's a lot more contain as from the edges. We saw this insane rotation across from Gary with like 5 different dudes constantly rotating in on the other side, between Van Ness, Bretton Cox, Kingsley Barry was getting a lot of snaps in there. Preston Smith before he got traded. So they haven't really figured out what's going on across from Gary until they trade for Micah Parsons, of course. And then as good as they were, they had a lot of gaps. And the cornerback room is as good as Keyshawn Nixon looked in his first year as an outside corner. Massive leap from being a slot corner. He's CB1 right now. Jair's gone. How will Nixon do in his first full season as cornerback 1? Is Javon Bullard going to be able to take a step? He was getting burned bad. He got smoked in that Vikings game, burning. And, got Carrington Valentine's coming in nice. So I think, again, for me, this is the season for Jordan Love to really prove what is he not. Last year he got hurt. He was playing on a limp leg all year, double leg injury. The first year, looked amazing. He had that, it was a second year starting, kind of a sophomore slump in the sense of it was second year starting, but no excuse. You're kind of at the end of your rookie contract. I think this is going to be a big year to tell us what is Jordan Love, what is he not, if he stays healthy all season, and will those receivers catch the damn ball? Which leads me into the next topic here that we should probably discuss as a Bears v. Packers fan here, Joey v. Brennan. Which offense is going to look more prolific this season, Bears or Packers? Joey, we'll let you. We'll kick it over to you on this one first.
I'm taking my Bears. I know it's going to take a while, and it's all new. But there's something different here. And Caleb, I know it was a single drive of the preseason. I'm not going to read into it because that'll make me crazy. But it just looked different. He looked comfortable. He looked poised. He looked like he was reading his routes properly and able to anticipate the next play and the throw. And he's really, really good. And so I am really encouraged. You mentioned the line. They retooled their whole line. They got Joe Tooney there now. They got 2 new starters in addition to that, which they didn't have last year. And they've invested in the coaches. I mean, even their coaches are better. You got Antoine Randall on the sidelines and Eric Bieniemy on the sidelines. These are guys that are interviewing for head coaching jobs. So I think the last couple of years they've had the skill position, but they haven't had the scheme and the full tools around it to be good, if not great. And I'm really excited about it because I think they're able to finally take advantage of what they have. They may have had a receiver in the past. They may have had a great tight end in the past, but they didn't have the line, or they have that and they didn't have the quarterback. It seems finally there's a group here that exists also, by the way, with an offensive-minded coach that can get the most out of it. And so that's what's really exciting me because we've been dying for a 4,000-yard passer for 100 years. So why not in 2025 we can finally have it? Get into the 21st century.
The oldest rivalry in football, half of it hasn't seen a 4,000-yard passer. It's crazy.
Yep.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on that? Where are we coming in on that?
I'll just build right off on that last comment there until I see that 4,000-yard passer. I mean, I got to see it first. I think the Packers this year, it's totally on the wide receivers, their health, whether or not they can catch the ball or not. But I think truly a lot of this year's offense and progression is solely based on our wide receivers. We know what we have in our running back in Josh Jacobs. We're not worried there. Behind Josh Jacobs, we got Marshawn Lloyd. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Marshawn Lloyd in here in
If he
this
stays healthy.
this he's got to stay healthy. That's the thing. But with our wide receivers, last year there was a lot of drops, and right now we're missing Reed, we're missing Savion Williams, we're also missing Dontavian Wicks right now. So a lot of this, I think, is going to factor into if our wide receivers can stay healthy. But Matthew Golden is looking great right now. I'm loving every single clip that comes out of training camp with him right now. I think he's going to just skyrocket to our number one right away. Right now, I think he's listed as our number two, right behind Jaden Reed. But Matthew Golden, I think, is the real deal. And Tucker Kraft, Musgrave doing that, running a dual tight end set. I think Musgrave's going to take a big leap this year with Kraft. So I mean, personally, I think we've got a more established offense that's been running for the last couple of years, and we're just kind of implementing a couple new rookies here to help elevate that offense and just just really finalize that missing piece that we've been missing when Christian Watson goes down for a week. We don't have that deep threat. So I think Golden coming in, Savion Williams kind of adding that extra depth there. I just really love what we're doing. And to top it all off, we currently have six starting offensive linemen. I mean, we don't know what we're going to do with Jordan Morgan. We keep trying to roll him out at left tackle, and Ellington Jenkins, he's just too. We got to keep Jenkins there. So I think he's earned that starting spot. Um, Jenkins or Morgan's looking good. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him in the future because I think Jenkins is coming up on a $20 million contract next year. So are we going to, take on that contract, or are we going to move Jordan Morgan over to the left tackle spot? So I think it's going to be interesting here going forward with the offensive line and how that's going to work out. But I'm interested to see how it's going to go, and I don't think it's going to go down.
Okay. Jordan Morgan, apparently, I believe he's the highest graded pass blocker in the preseason so far for folks with a minimum amount of snaps, which is surprising. And personally, I think Elton Jenkins, if Micah Parsons comes to Green Bay, I think that's at the expense of Elton Jenkins. I don't think they're going to want to.
He's not coming to Green Bay. Come on.
I know you don't want to accept that reality, Joey, because he's going to hurt Caleb real bad. I know you don't want to accept it, but he's come. And Packers got like $31 million in cap space right now. I'm just saying that's going to cover Parsons, especially if that means moving Elton Jenkins. I don't think Green Bay is going to resign him, especially the way they've been building up that O-line with Belton now, with Morgan. They still have Rasheed Walker there at left tackle to allow you the flexibility to really play around with what your line's going to look like. It is deep. The Packers, they love having a great O-line, and people bash the shit out of them for taking Morgan instead of Cooper DeJean the other year, and last year it didn't look great. We can all be very honest about that. Like last year, we could have really used Cooper DeJean when Jordan Morgan was hurt. Whatever, he was hurt. You can't. It is what it is. You can't really decide what a guy is when he's hurt all year as a rookie. But the Packers really could have used Cooper DeJean's services last year. Eman, back to you as the unbiased third party here. Where'd your head go with this debate?
As far as just offense, I just believe so much in Caleb Williams. I think he won the Heisman Trophy for a reason. I'm just being totally honest. He's way more talented than me than Jordan Love. And granted, I love Jordan Love can make every throw on the field, but just sometimes maybe 4 or 5 times a game, I'm like, what was that? Like, did you go to the sideline, hit the Zai, come back, and you're just confused who you're throwing the ball to? So, I think Ben Johnson has really settled Caleb Williams down, throwing on time, feeling comfortable. I just think he's just so much more talented than Jordan Love now. One thing I know as a receiver, I played receiver in college, I played quarterback in high school. When you can't catch, that doesn't get better. So y'all hoping that gets better? It's not gonna get better.
But
That
will it?
buttered popcorn is gonna stay in the locker room
Hey,
because it
What?
doesn't.
to be fair, Devontae Adams had a horrible second year. He was dropping balls like Dontavian Wicks was last year. And you know who runs routes like Devontae Adams is Dontavian Wicks. If Dontavian Wicks can figure that out, he can really amount to something. Now, I'm not saying he's the next Devontae Adams, but
Yeah, that's
if
that's
that
kind of hard.
it's hard, but I do think that second year, that third year, when our receivers are the ones that are looked to as, hey, you're the star of the offense here, and they're only in their second or third year, that's a lot of pressure. And I think just bringing in all of these guys, getting these guys older and further into their careers is only going to help, and I think that's only going to improve. Jaden Reed being one of them, Wicks being another. And then I know Watson's out for extended period of time, but as soon as we can get him back, that deep threat is dangerous.
And that was I think a big reason the Packers saw so many drops last year is the offense didn't make sense for the talent. And here's what I mean by that. They ran the ball more than they ever had since 2003, I believe. Jaden
Agreed.
Reed leading the team with, I believe, 56 catches, something like that, was the lowest to lead the team since 2003. I believe it was 2003 when Donald Driver was there and led the team with like 50 some catches. So they plugged in all these young receiver talents that have a lot of potential, for their own reasons. And then they would disappear for half the game. It's like Jaden Reed needed to be involved every game, all game, and he would be gone for three quarters. Romeo Dobbs would be gone. Tucker Kraft would disappear. So they had all these weapons to use, but that only really works if you're passing the ball a lot. And the Packers just pounding the rock all year long. So when you're young and developing and trying to get in your rhythm and trying to establish rapport with your quarterback and get your game right, if you're not getting passes, you're not getting reps on the field, live game reps, it's really hard to get right and get good. So I think LaFleur, I think there's a lot of pressure on LaFleur this season to dial in the offense to match the talent. I think it worked and there's a lot of potential with it. But look, if you got all these young cats who struggled last year, they need more reps. They need more consistency. And you can't run the ball like you ran it last year, because then you're just going to get guys constantly disappearing again, and they're just not going to get the reps and skilled practice that they need in live games. It was like Lucas Van Ness on defense, right? He used the freaking, what pick was that, Brandon? 13th pick on Lucas Van Ness, and he's rotating in and out with four other guys. I mean, that's your first round pick. At least give the guy some damn reps. Let him earn something. We don't know what he's going to be if, we're in year 3 and he's getting freaking 20 snaps a game, man. Like,
is this a Packers cast? What the hell is going on here? E-Man, help me. Help me.
I mean, I'm saying this is where they struggled, though. Like, there's area for improvement here. Like, there's some flaws that can hold them back this season if they don't dial that in. And
I hear y'all passion, but I'm just being honest, Brendan, and I love it. But none of those receivers on y'all team is Devontae Adams. He was considered 45 years at one point, the best receiver in the league. So I understand y'all optimism, but I'm telling you, butter popcorn is on y'all sideline. Get ready for a lot of drops this year.
Cheesy fingers, baby. Cheesy fingers.
All day. So I told you, Brendan.
The cheeseheads start melting. The cheeseheads start melting a little bit. And I agree with you, man, that Caleb Williams is what he is for a reason. His ceiling is, I don't think anyone can find his ceiling. If someone gets him right and dialed in, the ceiling doesn't exist there. I totally agree with that one too. Let's get to the last one. What is, let's keep it on the quarterbacks quick. And Joey, start this off for Caleb. What is his biggest hurdle? We saw a lot of clips this preseason and some camp where he's missing the mark and he's making some silly looking throws, right? We know the talent is there. We know Ben Johnson is going to help. We know the coaching is there. The talent around him is there. What is the biggest hurdle for Caleb Williams from like a Bears fan perspective this year?
It's literally unlearning everything he learned last year. I mean, that's the toughest thing, right? If you're a rookie, they're like, be a sponge, learn everything. And he comes into a situation that's a disaster. As much as Hard Knocks wanted to tell you it was all rosy, it was a disaster. So it's really taking the time to learn what I cannot remember from last year to use this year. And it takes a lot to learn a new offense. It's like learning a whole new language. So while, yes, I think Ben Johnson and he'll be a great marriage, I think that's the biggest thing is he's got to really buy into this new system, understand what that means, and then try to forget all those mistakes, understanding how to stay in the pocket and learn how to take the ball under center and not everything being in shotgun and throwing ahead of a receiver. I mean, these are simple things, but it wasn't taught last year, and he was so much better than the competition at USC that it didn't matter, to where now you're playing against grown men and they're coming after you with all they got, and he's just got to really buy in. And I think the good part is, because a lot of times we've seen this in Chicago, they draft the wrong guy and try to make him fit into a system. I think now at least they're building a system around the quarterback. So if he's the guy, it's set up for success, and it makes Sundays a lot more fun.
And look, I've been scared of the Bears before, but I think this is the most real type of fear I've felt about the Bears. Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson was the right coach. There was no better. If it wasn't Ben Johnson, it was the wrong hire. So this is definitely the most nervous. I mean, this is the highest ceiling quarterback the Bears have ever had, and it's not particularly close. I mean, anyone could have drafted Caleb Williams, besides maybe Mahomes. It's the highest ceiling quarterback just about anyone could have on their franchise. So definitely a little bit nervous about that one. Brennan, what's the biggest hurdle for Jordan Love to wrap this whole thing up?
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle this year is just going to be himself, right? I mean, Iman said it earlier, right? He's got 4 or 5 passes per game where it's like, where were you throwing to on that one? And then, last year he was hurt for a good portion of the year too. So I think this year it's a lot about staying healthy. Stay healthy and make great decisions, right? We have an offensive line that's going to block for you. Take your time and pick out, run through your reads. Don't make that bad, silly pass over the middle of the field to the 49ers defensive back to end the game. Nobody wants to see that. That throw still haunts me. So a lot of it, I think, is going to go just down to simple decision making. Those 4 or 5 passes a game, we just can't have that. We can't have those multi-interception games this year. So just getting over that hump, making great decisions throughout the game, and then just doing what you can to stay healthy. Get down, don't take those big hits late in the game. I know the Eagles game was kind of an outlier last year where he did get hurt, and that kind of just lingered throughout the entire season. But I think if he can stay healthy and just get out of his head when he makes those poor decisions throwing the ball, I don't really see what can really stop him.
Got final thoughts on that, Eman?
Nope. I'm agreeing with both of y'all. Listen, I want to see this good battle this year. I think both of them are good young quarterbacks, both good teams. So I just want to see it go. I have no horse in this race, so I'm gonna watch it from the sideline. I'm all the way in the AFC.
Beautiful.
And I will proudly be chanting Green Bay sucks as I go through the Bears tunnel, as I always do.
And we'll be proudly chanting the Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.
Can't wait for December.
Oh, dude, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be an exciting season in the NFC North. Brennan, thank you so much for joining the inaugural episode of Chalk Talk Social with us. Way to hold your ground against Joey. Bears versus Packers. It's the most beautiful rivalry in all sports, baby. Besides maybe Stone Cold versus The Rock. It's right up there. But Brennan, great having you. Well, we'll see you back on here. We'll see you in the Patreon. I'm sure we'll see you in the Patreon.
You broke our virginity, Brennan. You broke our virginity.
Pop our
yeah, buddy. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Appreciate it, boys. Enjoy your night.
Yep.